U.S. President John F. Kennedy's sense of style is certainly well documented, from his tailored suits to his casual sailing looks. In this video, I wanted to take a closer look at some of his everyday carry items. These are some of his EDC amenities and accessories I've personally learned about that he kept on hand. I've got 6 EDC items and 3 travel items to show you. You'll see the brands, plus where some are still available today. I'll show you the last watch he wore and another one he used more often. And of course, I'll talk about some of the fountain pens associated with the late president. Hello everyone, I'm Scott, and on Landed Style, I explore timeless living, classic men's style, and the traditions of quiet luxury from my real-life perspectives and experiences with new videos every week. Hit subscribe if that sounds interesting, and now let's jump in. JFK's wallet was a black leather bifold with reinforced brass corners and the initials JFK embossed inside. The brand has changed dramatically since the 1950s and 60s, as you may can see from their website. For a similar black leather bifold wallet today, I'd recommend Smithson of Bond Street or Ettinger of London. Or better yet, find a skilled local cobbler in your community. Kennedy carried a money clip which featured a St. Christopher's medal. It was a gift from his wife Jackie. There's a touching story about this. Money clips were common among traditional men of his generation, and in my opinion, they are still useful with a smaller form factor than a card carrier. I have had one for years and love it if you have trousers with shallow pockets, or if you want to tuck it in to the pocket of a coat or blazer and not have too much of a form factor showing on your chest, or at the beach with a swimsuit and you don't want anything else to get wet. Money clip, that's the way to go. For quality options, look at Tiffany & Company's sterling silver clips or minimalist options from styles like Mont Blanc. Much like today, men of Kennedy's era carried bags, usually briefcase style. JFK owned several from his school days onward, but his go-to for many years was a Hermès black alligator bag. It was the briefcase he carried on his final trip to Texas. He purchased it in 1940 in England while living in London during his father's tenure as a U.S. ambassador. Hermès still offer luxury bags, though the form factor has become a lot less traditional in my view. For something closer to Kennedy's, try Swain, Adney, Brigg, or Asprey London, or once again, a local artisan can often provide a bespoke piece, and it has a lot more character if you get it made yourself. Kennedy's most iconic accessory had to be his American Optical Saratoga sunglasses. Classic tortoiseshell frames that set a tone for generations. They remain in production today. I've got a pair, and I must say, these are some of the most well-built sunglasses I have ever put on my face. I've had these for several years. I absolutely loved them. It is the Saratoga that is a true JFK look, and these are the glasses that he's wearing in so many of the famous pictures you see. I'll link them below, as you can still purchase the exact model today, and I highly recommend them. Again, not a sponsored link. I just really respect the glasses and the other options that they offer and the build quality. Kennedy's taste in timepieces reflected an understated refinement. His most famous watch was an Omega ultra-thin OT 3980 in 18-karat gold with a black leather band. It had been a gift to him during his presidential campaign. Slim, rectangular, and elegant, this became an inauguration watch. He wore it to the 1961 inaugural, and he even wore it casually while sailing in great photos like this one. Family members even say that Jackie often mentioned how much she admired it. While Omega no longer makes this model, their Heritage and Globemaster collections keep the same presidential precision alive, you could say. Kennedy also owned a gold Cartier Tank gifted to him by Jackie in 1957 for their anniversary, which he wore frequently. In fact, it was that Cartier Tank that was the watch on his wrist the day of his assassination in Dallas, and it was later removed at the hospital before his body was flown back to Washington. No gentleman's EDC is complete without a fine writing instrument, and President Kennedy seemed to have several, although interestingly, he didn't really have a favorite one, and he didn't carry one regularly on his person, always in his bags though. He was often seen with the Parker 45, a practical everyday choice of the 1960s. It was also a favorite of Queen Elizabeth II in that time period. He also used an Easterbrook fountain pen. Those were the official White House pens for signing legislation at the time. It's one you dip into ink to write. And Kennedy owned the Montblanc Meisterstruck No. 149, a pen still regarded as one of the world's finest. JFK's carry didn't end with pocket items or watches. He was also very particular about travel amenities, and this first one really was a shock when I read it several years ago. He would often travel with bathroom scales to weigh himself. He liked these because he was known to be self-conscious and even joke about his weight, and he says he attributes that to his mother, who used to make all of her many children weigh regularly so she could keep track of their weight. A good book. Kennedy was a lifelong reader and a fan of Ian Fleming's James Bond novels. His favorite was From Russia with Love, and he would also take cologne like many of us, but also soap. His cologne is one of his favorites was 8 and Bob. It's a refined fragrance that's still available today. EDC for a gentleman hasn't really changed much. The best pieces remain timeless, personal, and always functional. What are some of your favorites? Drop a comment. Unsponsored links to much of what I mentioned are in the description. Thanks for being here.